You know, we have more information at our fingertips today than at any other point in human history. It's incredible. But what about the really important questions? The ones we're often too afraid to ask out loud. Well, in this explainer, we're going to look at the two main paths we take to find answers when things get personal.
Come on, be honest. We've all been there, right? Whether it's about our health, our relationships, or just some deep curiosity, there are some things that feel way too private to say to a friend or even a doctor. It's a totally universal feeling.
So when those unspoken questions pop into our heads, what do? For most of us, that first reflex is to reach for a screen, our phone, our laptop, whatever's nearby. And that simple act pretty much sends us down one of two roads: seeking the wisdom of a human expert or turning to the vast, anonymous world of a search engine.
Okay, so let's talk about that first path, finding a trusted human guide. We're talking about an expert who has built their entire career around answering these tough questions. And a perfect example of this kind of modern expert is Dr. Emily Morse.
I mean, just listen to this. This is a quote from one of her listeners. It's not just about getting a helpful tip. This person is talking about a complete transformation of their marriage and their life. That right there shows you the unique power of a trusted, empathetic, human voice.
And that's because for Dr. Morse, this goes way beyond just giving advice. She's really a cultural force. Her whole mission is to destigmatize topics that have been taboo for, well, forever. She wants to make these conversations feel normal, healthy, and accessible for everyone.
And you can really see her journey here. She started her pioneering podcast way back in 2005. Think about that. It's now the longest running of its kind. From there, she went to print with a best-selling book, and now she's teaching masterclasses. She's consistently found new ways to reach people where they are. This is her signature phrase, and it really captures her whole philosophy in just 3 words. For her, the key to better intimacy isn't some secret trick or technique. It's just talking. Open, honest conversation. She believes that real connection always starts with communication. All right, so that's the human guide. But now let's pivot to the second path. Because for every person who seeks out a human expert, there are millions, maybe billions more who turn to a completely different kind of oracle. The silent, anonymous, and incredibly powerful search bar. Just think about it for a second. The search box is a total judgment-free zone. It has no face, no opinions. It's a private space where we can type the questions we would never, ever dare to speak out loud. It's basically become the world's confessional. But what actually happens after we type in that sensitive question and hit enter? Well, the results can be a pretty complex mix of information. So to really understand how it works, let's break down the anatomy of a search with a very specific modern case study. So first, we need a term. Let's use this one, a mindgasm. It's a contemporary concept that's all about the brain being the main event, achieved through mental focus rather than physical touch. This is exactly the kind of nuanced, modern idea that someone might be hesitant to ask a person about, but would easily type into a search engine. Now let's pair that with a related, but much more complex question. See, this isn't a simple "what is" query. This is a question that touches on psychology, biology, sociology, cultural norms. So how on earth does a search engine even begin to answer something with so many layers? What it does is it pulls from a whole bunch of different fields. The search results for a query like this might give you an evolutionary perspective, suggesting a subconscious link to survival traits from our ancestors. But at the same time, right below that, you might see a social perspective, arguing that it's media and culture that shape what we find attractive. The key thing here is that one question can lead you to multiple, and sometimes even conflicting, expert answers.
So, given this maze of complex and sometimes contradictory information, how are we supposed to navigate it all? Well, fortunately, the search tools themselves are evolving to help us become smarter and safer in our search for knowledge.
You see, modern search isn't just a giant list of links anymore. New AI tools use a technique called query fan-out. It sounds technical, but the idea is pretty simple. The AI takes your big, messy question, breaks it down into smaller pieces, searches for answers to each piece all at once, and then pulls everything together into a single, easy-to-digest summary. It's designed to act less like a library and more like your own personal research assistant.
But, and this is a really important but, we have to remember this technology is still very new. It can misinterpret nuance or miss important context, so while it's an incredibly powerful tool, your own critical thinking is still the most important guide you have.
And beyond the AI, search engines also give you direct control over the
content you see. Tools like Safe Search let you customize your experience. You can filter everything explicit out, you can choose to just blur images, or you can turn it all off. This puts the control back in your hands, so you can tailor your search to your own comfort level. So, where does all this leave us? We've got the human guide on one side and the digital oracle on the other. And the future of finding answers isn't about choosing one over the other. It's about empowered inquiry. This quote from Dr. Morris really frames the whole search for knowledge perfectly. It's not just an academic exercise. The end goal, whether we're talking to an expert or an algorithm, is to live a more informed, empowered, and yes, a more pleasurable life. So here's the key takeaway. These two paths aren't in competition, they're complementary. The human guide helps us understand ourselves and communicate our needs. The digital oracle gives us the raw data and instant access to the world's knowledge. True empowerment comes from knowing how and when to use both. Which leaves us with a final thought to chew on. In this huge landscape of information, guided by both human wisdom and artificial intelligence, maybe the most powerful tool we have isn't the source of the answer at all, but the curiosity and the courage to ask the question in the first place.